There we go. Excellent. So it looks like I had a delayed reaction on my YouTube, so but it looks like it's good to go now. Excellent. So it looks like it caught everything I said before, even though there was a delayed reaction. So, but basically I said that my NaNoWriMo project for this year is basically to work on my Kindle Vella novel, which was my project from last year. I currently have 9 episodes live, and I've already finished writing season 1. I'm still getting feedback, editing it, and getting the last quite a few chapters beta read. And then the second season I've written about halfway through. So for my NaNoWriMo project, I am focusing on finishing season 2 and hopefully starting season 3 in the writing. So those are my goals. And I will go ahead and minimize this and pull up my details. I already finished organizing my season 2. So now I am, I don't do a full outline. What I do is I write out sections. So it's kind of, to me, like it could be multiple chapters, but these are what I know, the events that happen within each section, if that makes sense. I guess in most people that would be a chapter, but on Kindle Vella, you're encouraged to do not too much over 1,000 words each chapter. And I tend to have a couple bulky chapters, so I'm trying to refine it a little bit. So knowing what happens per each section helps me. And if you have questions about that, feel free to ask. So I'm going to dive in, and I'm going to play a streaming music thing so it's copyright free. And if you have any questions, let me know. Mornings I always get like sniffles. So excuse my wiggly nose. Ishness. But when I get 10 years, because she was 12. He was 4 years older, so we were 16. The moment when you forget an age. And yes, I will need to get a calculator because brain works. $22, I said. Don't mind me doing simple math on a calculator. 6%. This music is fucking better. Hello, 2 viewers. What are you guys working on? Are you outlining today? Are you figuring out some scenes? Are you doing Pinterest? I do Pinterest as well. It helps me a lot. I do character boards, I do inspiration for the arcs. Where are you, stinker? There you are, Killian. Well, I hope this preptober stream helps with productivity. That's my main goal. That and community, but nice to be 2 years. There's gonna be momentarily a third person on my thing, but it's me. I have just sorry, I just have a little tickle on my nose. I don't know what's going on. I always get allergies in the morning. Question is how to write sentient plants without making them creepy. That's the question. Because I don't want my sentient plants to be creepy. Perfect combination. What's your guys' snacks of choice when you're writing or planning? Do you have separate things that you do? During NaNoWriMo, I always had like a routine. I'd wake up almost on the dot at 9:30. I'd light a candle, get myself a cappuccino, homemade of course, and then get into it. And just that muscle memory and also the smell and the taste just helped. Do you guys have a routine like that? Good morning, MES Koa. It's nice to see you. Well, not see you, but you know what I mean. See your writing. Something you'll learn very quickly about me is I'm very awkward, but hopefully I will make you feel comfortable with my awkwardness. Ooh, Vixen or Avian. That sounds interesting. Twizzlers. I've never been a huge Twizzlers fan. I've been always more a red vine. I know usually people are just one or the other. I personally have always been more of a red vine person. But that's probably because I like licorice and not everyone likes licorice. I think that's what the defining moment between those two. What makes people go for Twizzlers versus red vine, because I don't think Twizzlers has any licorice in it, so it's just candy twisted into a stick, right? If you're curious, I'm drinking India chai tea, nice and warm, with a little splash of coconut milk, and then more cinnamon on top because I am a lover of cinnamon. Oh yeah. Do you like Good and Plenty too? Because I've always liked licorice ever since I was little, and not everyone likes Good and Plenty either. See, I had a feeling. I feel like both Twizzlers and Red Vine. People that like Red Vine like licorice. The like little farm that I grew up on was in dead center inside of the city. Like there was a city all around it, and then there was like countryside right in the middle, which was really weird. And the house I grew up on was like 100+ year old house. Like literally, it was where it started from one room, and then they kept on building off of it. I'm telling you, that would be a great story. I don't know, to have that house in a story. But my bedroom had a window that went to the laundry room. The laundry room had a bathroom off it, and then the laundry room had outdoor, what's it called? Built-in deck? No. Little breezeway. And that had a random bathroom off it, and then an office. And then on the other side, in front of my room, there was a sloped floor kitchen with a cast iron stove. And then off that was a tiny living room. And then off that was my parents' bedroom. And then off that was the sunroom. So where was I going with this? See, I lost my train of thought. But it had licorice. We had licorice plants in this farmhouse, and it was really cool. Yeah, I love old houses like that. Sadly, it got demolished when a developer bought the land, and we had literal fossils in our backyard, like the cool little twisty kind, like the ones that look like unicorn horns. I would just call them unicorn horns. Thankfully, I was worried that we didn't grab any, but I was telling my parents how I was lamenting that we didn't grab any of the fossils, and they're like, "Oh no, we grabbed some of the fossils before it was demolished." I was like, "Oh, okay, good." Whew. Because we just rented. Yeah, and then behind that we had a junkyard. It was an interesting childhood, growing up on a farm with a junkyard in the back that had big cement tiles, cement tunnels, and like old-timey trucks. And as a daydreamer, I just had so much fun. Yeah. So what kind of story are you writing? Amiascus. I probably totally butchered your name. I'm so sorry. It sounds like from what you mentioned that it might be a sci-fi fantasy or just a fantasy? Excuse me. Oh no, I hope the hiccups don't come on. Because that would be embarrassing. I get hiccups and then they just never leave me. They just keep on coming. It's a bit of a fantasy to start. Mine's definitely sci-fi fantasy, but I could see people thinking it was just fantasy, but it's not. It's sci-fi fantasy. I'm pretty sure in the first chapter I pretty much disproved that. But yeah. I like those kind of stories. I like stories that gather almost like a snowball effect. That's not the expression I'm going for, but you know what I mean, where little details that you see as a reader just start culminating, and then you kind of see the picture of it. Yeah. I love movies especially like that. Have you seen I mean, this is kind of like a thriller, but I always like enjoyed it. Me and my mom would watch it all the time. Even though after you watch it the first time, like the surprise is, I won't say anymore if you haven't seen it. The Village. If you have seen The Village, you know what I'm talking about. Like clues along the way, the mystery. Yeah, I like that. I'm trying to write a red herring in my story, but I don't, according to my husband, I have a hard time with subtlety. Sorry, there's like some sort of like random loud machine outside. I hope you guys can't hear this. The Book of Eli. That was a good one as well. That's my wonderful chatter and follower. I'll have to look that one up. Book of. But yeah, I guess I like mystery in my stories too, but I kind of like having my characters naturally like uncover and discover things. So to me, my story is less a mystery and more like a story of discovery. So I do have unreliable narrators though. So because I have multiple point of views. So like my main character, Vienna, she has many misconceptions in the beginning of the world she's living in. And then I was very inspired by, if anyone else watches these animes or reads these web novels, but reincarnation, transmigration, Izeki novels. So I was all like, I don't particularly want to write something that's like, I don't know, I don't want to say spiritual, that sounds wrong, but I wanted it to be more sci-fi. And so I came up with this idea, and I also wanted to write something that was of ease to read for someone that has brain fog on a normal basis, which is me, and pretty much a lot of people, honestly, especially after COVID, which is not fun. So yep, that is kind of what inspired this story. Is I wanted a book that people could read even if they weren't feeling their best, but still loved reading. Like those of us that no, that's not the word I'm looking for. Because I know for myself personally, is I had a period of not reading because of my not fun stuff that I have to deal with, and so I wanted to, but then I discovered web novels, and web novels have this kind of like ease of reading, and so I was like, there are certain things that kind of bugged me, like things where they were like description dumped like at the very beginning and stuff, and that was like a repetitive kind of thing that was happening. But I saw the mistakes and the things that I didn't like, and then but I was inspired very much by the fluidity of the writing, and so I wanted to write something similar, more in-depth world creation, but at the same time character-driven. So that's why I kind of call my story a cozy fantasy, because I try to not do anything that makes people have any severe anxiety, because I love books that have a lot of adventure, don't get me wrong, but in recent years it's been harder for me to read them. So I wanted to write something that had adventure and discovery and fantasy and sci-fi and all that wonderful stuff, but that wouldn't give people anxiety, and instead still give them a sense of wonder. So that's my little ramble right now. That's not what they call it anymore. Conscious. Oh, my nose. I like stories like that, that have like a history of the world that's actually really technologically advanced, but then later generations aren't like sure how to explain it. I wouldn't say mine's like that, but there definitely was a more technologically advanced race in the past, and then due to a war, the amount of technology in the continent was lessened, due to people kind of like taking advantage of the technology and hurting their fellow man. So I don't really go into the war a lot because I didn't want to stress people out, but enough where like people know like the basis of like what caused things. And so yeah, that's kind of a similarity kind of concept, is like it's not huge, it's not a spoiler at all, because in the prologue I talked about the Portiac lands. So yeah, there was like these giant portals that would go in between the different places within the Terra, and to make travel quicker. And then the people that made the portals in the Portiac lands is what the continent calls them, but it's actually Core City. They had more ways of using kind of like this stone that was at the core of the planet to like use technology and stuff. And I'm describing this horribly, but I have it better in words on the page. I'm always one of those people who are like, what's in my head and from my fingertips is better than what I'm saying out loud, which I need to get better at for marketing purposes. But yeah, that's kind of what my background is. It's a very old planet because the beings that live on it live for a considerably long time, except during the war time. Then of course, death rates were higher, but in general, all the races live for like pretty long time. And when I say a pretty long time, I mean hundreds upon hundreds of years. So it's rich in history, but a lot of the older ones were either went into hiding or sadly died during the Great War time. So yep, that's kind of some of the background of it. And I have like three main, I don't know if you would call them continents. There's the continent, which is the biggest place and which has the most Terrans, which is excuse me, that's embarrassing, largest amount of people, I suppose. They're the closest to humans, I would say, but they're not human. They're bipedal humanoids that look like their surroundings or the environment they're in. So like, for instance, there's these snow-capped mountains that have like red snow and red dirt, and so the people around that area look like the mountains and the snow and all that kind of stuff. So, and then the people from the desert that have black sand with like kind of gold in it, like actual gold in the sand, they kind of similarly look like the sands and that kind of thing. So I have kind of like an environmental looking things. And then there's different races, but I wouldn't call them different species because they, everyone, yeah, they're different races. And now I will stop rambling and we can get back to planning. Sorry, I rambled for a while. Thanks. I'm pretty proud of it too. This is probably one of the most intense books I've ever written. Most detailed. Like literally wrote in language for one of my beings, and I've had I love it very much. Which is always good when you're going to read it so many times. Okay, let's see. What happens? I think I need to make these words bigger because my brain is just not registering the current font. Ah, that's so much better. Ooh, living metal. That sounds super cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I always like things like living metal and that sci-fi nanobites that like, those are so much fun plots to play with. Definitely please let me know when, my brain's blanking out. Like, if you have, once you get your draft done, I'll be an ARC reader if you want an ARC reader. I will be a beta reader if you want a beta reader. I haven't really beta except like fan fiction, but I don't know. I don't think that counts as beta reading. I don't know. When it's not like you're just reading people's things and reviewing. Why is it so loud outside? I can't wait until I have my own office. It's not something I could wait until I have my own office to do. It's like they're going by with like one of those grass cutting machines like right by our window, just going. Alright, let's think. Let's think about what people. Okay, so I had her already buy the dead. No, she didn't buy them. She's saved. My old outline had like old terminology, like, and I'm all like, that's not what they're called. They're not even fairy. I'm like, that's not what they are though. Oh, nice! Another Kindle Vella person! Yay! Yeah, I definitely will read it once it's on Kindle Vella. I'm one of those people that I kind of need to know someone. I like take the jump and read their stuff sometimes. I don't know. So that's why it's good to have sort of a community so that you can. Yeah, renaming things all the time. Thankfully, they're at their stuck part now because, like I said, my Kindle at the start, my Kindle Vella is at 9 live episodes, so I can't change it. Plus, I love their names. Like, I love the race names so much. There's the Okrin, and it has a fun little thing over the O, which I love. There's the Elemencertus, and there's the Terran, and there's the Forgotten Ones, which their name hasn't been revealed yet, so I won't reveal it. But I love their name so much. Like, I love all the names I came up with so much. You found the right story to write when you're just so in love with each of your characters that you write. Like, for instance, one of the characters in the beginning that I thought would hate writing ends up being one of my favorite characters to write. His name's Raven, and that's Raven. And you bet Google tries to change that to Raven every chance it gets, even after I've already added it to the dictionary. But you know, that's what happens when you pick interesting names. Oh, that's cool. Writing a language so that the names all follow a pattern. Yeah, that's kind of how I have the Element Surgis's last names, but because the first name, well, they actually have like two different kind of first names. Names are kind of important to them. I kind of took the inspiration that, like, in fairy lore, like, you don't tell people their names. Like, that's not a thing in this thing. Vienna thinks it's a thing because she has a misconception for a really long time about the beings. But in this world, it's kind of like the beings from this dimension inspired tales of fairy later on. Yeah. But yeah, no, the names are really important in this. But because they have two separate names, one that's like a birth name that's given to them by their mother, like whispered into their ear, and then there's like an inheritance name. So there's two names. So the first name can be a little interesting sometimes, where it doesn't follow the like rules. But the second name always has some sort of correlation to their element or something like that. So, yeah. And then their last name always has to do with, like, follows the rules of their language and their land. So, what's the about? Were you inspired also by Latin and then breaking up Latin, like root words? Because that's how I did my language. I got really inspired by certain root words, and then I was like, okay, well, these beings are kind of like this and this combined. And then I also discovered more things about them when I was like combining root words that sounded cool. It was fun. I always search though in Google to make sure it's not like a bad word somewhere. Because I'm always terrified that's gonna happen. Like, I'm worried that somewhere it's a bad word, and I named something after a bad word. But no, that's why I kind of kept to Latin roots so that I would know in general what things mean. But I always search them just in case to make sure there's not something already named that you know might have a negative connotation, and then things like that. Oh, I get it. Okay. Ooh, I like that. Having it based off the Japanese characters and the combinations of sounds. Yeah. I like that too. In one of my fan fictions, I was trying to come up with names for, well, it was Shadow and Bone. And in one of the Shadow and Bone's cultures, they're inspired by Chinese culture, and so I was trying to come up with like OC names that were inspired by Chinese culture, and then you're like looking up the names, and they have very concise rules for coming up with names, like, you know, whether or not they were born on an auspicious day, and then also like you want a name that sounds almost like poetry because the poetry is so important to their history, and then there were like certain combinations that you don't want to ever do because it has a wrong connotation. And then also you don't want to ever name your child after like a famous person. So I wasn't sure how many of those rules I should like, because it's for a fan fiction that has a place based off something else, you know, that weird in between thing. But oh, that's smart. Designing your own characters. Yeah, that's smarter than what, yeah. But of course it was for a fan fiction, so that's different. If it was for my own thing, I would have designed my own characters because I'd be too worried about accidentally making something that was inappropriate. Yeah, I was worried about my pen name being an insult. I like when everything is connected. I like when names are connected, the characters are connected. Yeah, that's very much like my world too. Like that theory of everything's connected. Yeah, I like that. I feel that that's sometimes very sci-fi more than fantasy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's more sci-fi, where there's connections that can be made in the background, like everywhere. Ow. I got an adjustment from the chiropractor and he readjusted my ribs, but I still have one that's just like, hello, every once in a while. Yes. Yes, I think that's the goal of every writer, is to be able to make their own rules when it comes to certain things. Yeah. I don't think my idea is not original, definitely, but yeah, I like that. I thought it was very similar to like a clan situation, or, well, I was watching other people's videos and they were writing all these things like the cultures behind each like race, and I was all like, I haven't really done that for any of my people, and so especially since a lot of them are family connected, and I felt like I really should. So when I was making the names, it was actually when I was making the names for the beings, certain components just inspired these little like synapses in my brain where I was like, this would be a good idea. I should do this. That's very much for when the name for the Forgotten Ones is revealed. It was inspired by three keywords that are, you'll see as hints like throughout it before the name's revealed, but I love it. I love it so much. That reminds me, I need to say in this one that the name, she knows the name now. Oh, that whistling is a little annoying in the background there. Let me skip it. Oh, that is not the same peoples. Don't like when it skips to different people. See all. Lo-fi. Let's do rustic. I feel like that works. Oh, that's nice. That sounds nice. That feels more like the vibe of my stories than... Oh, you stream the Mia's Best? Sorry, I'm gonna mess up your name every time I say it. What day? I shall get it right. What days do you stream on so that I can come join? Or do you just stream whenever you can? Which I used to do too. I'm gonna try to do a schedule. That's my goal. But it's gonna change each week because I have to see how I feel each week. Oh, I did? Oh, good. I already followed you. That's good. That's good. I wasn't sure if I did. Yeah, I found the music by, I mean, I was searching nonstop for copyright-free stuff, but then I found on Spotify this one called Streamer Music Group that's literally made for streamers. And they have all these different themes, songs. So I definitely suggest them. Their albums are literally saying copyright-free, which is awesome. Oh, my husband just made coffee and like I have my tea's running out. I'm like, oh, coffee smells so good. Yes, let me finish drinking this real quick. Did you just photo bomb? Here you go. French toast, please. If you like other like getting writer streams, coffee, yep. I follow Paper Tiger on YouTube, and she does streams. She's in Australia, so there's the time difference, but she does streams every 11:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, in another hour and a half. Her time just changed, so she's been a little late a couple times, but she's awesome. Very supportive. And then she has a good amount of people that join the chat, but not enough where you get drowned in it, so you still get like interactions, which is really nice. She's sweet. And she writes actually children's books, which are really cool. They're Chinese and English, kind of like parallel books, children's books, kind of like to teach your kids how to speak Chinese, and you know, it's really cute and really neat. And if we ever have kids, though, we'll probably be teaching them French because we both love French so much. And at one point, John's pretty much fluent. I'm not fluent, but I can get around Paris relatively easy. The one time I went, so I actually was better with my directional capabilities than my husband that had been there one other time. He literally got lost, and I was like, nope, it's this way and then this way. I will forever be proud of that. I totally agree with over 1,000 viewer chats. Of course, I don't know how many Travis's Taverns has, but he always responds to whoever types in his chat, and I know he has a good amount of followers already. I don't know if it's at 1,000, but he's pretty cool. He's got that whole steampunk general vibe. I don't know, but he does. Yeah, he writes steampunk sci-fi novels, and some of them are on Kindle Vella. So he's really good about kind of like supporting, and he'll like even ask you to drop down your information in the chat when you mention it, which is really nice. Not everyone's like that, and I like that. If I had more people in the stream, I would say go for it once you have, but maybe by the time you have your novel on Kindle Vella, then posting the information, other than for me, would be, it is too hot. I can't have it right at this moment. But thank you. Would be great. Yeah. So yeah, Travis Tavern is one night I go occasionally, and he's almost always streaming. And then the Paper Tiger in about an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, an hour and 15 minutes. I'm so bad at math. Should be, I join her on YouTube often. I will type their names in the chat to make it very simple because I will, it's Paper Tiger on YouTube, and then it's Travis's Tavern on Twitch. But whenever I look up writing streams, like whenever I just like randomly come to Twitch, like I would say of the times I've done it, he's there at least most of the time. There's only been like 2 times that he wasn't streaming, and it's not always. They're literally at our door. I'm so sorry, everybody, for the loudness. I think they're literally blowing leaves like right at our door. So it's not as loud as it was. Yeah, so Travis's Tavern on Twitch, and then Paper Tiger on YouTube. On the tapes. Oh, you can't hear them. Oh, good. Oh, that's good that you can't hear the leaf. I don't know if it's a leaf blower, but it is loud to me, and I was worried. Maybe because I'm so loud. I don't know. No, because I have the music and everything. That probably helps. Okay. Let's dive back in. Yes, Travis Writing Tavern. That's what it was. Thanks for correcting me. To look up that moment where you're not sure how old certain people were when certain things happen. You're like, wait, how old would they be now? And that is why I have a very messy journal that tells me how old everyone is on certain episodes. That's when they got married, so she would have been pregnant here? No, here. Good, I wrote it down. So she's still 8 then. So they're about year and a half when she's 9, so math is hard. 8 years difference, so if she was 12, I'm sorry, I have to use a calculator for very simple calculations because my brain. So they were 4 when she left, and then plus, I said 6 years, so they'd be 10. Math is hard sometimes. But me figuring out the math now will make it easier when I'm just writing crazily. Yes. Tag it, math is hard. I use my docs, and then I recently discovered Notion, which is free, and I'll even show it to you. I'm rather proud of how it's coming together. And you use templates. Sometimes you can find templates that you got from other people. And this is kind of just my cool things. I have my characters. Never did fill that out. Oops. But yeah, you have your, so I have my characters here, and then for instance, like if I open Raven, you can see I have like ages and his race and what kind of rules he has. I also always try to get their MBTI type because it just helps me, because especially if I'm stuck with something like a chapter, then like if I know their MBTI type, then I'm like, then I can look up how that personality type reacts to stress or their body language or that kind of thing, and then it can just like unstick me. And yeah, so this is kind of this, and then this is what I do for, this might be helpful for, I don't know how, I haven't used OneNote, but maybe they have something similar, but for my chapter word count and status, especially if you're doing Kindle Vella, it's good to keep like aware of it, because they do suggest having under, or like at least 1,000 words, but then keep it at 1,000, because they pay for every 10, it's 10 coins, yeah. And so my first 3 chapters had big things because I was like, well, they're free. And then the other ones are, as you can see, I kind of have a habit of going over 2,000, so I've been trying to get better at that. But yeah, I gotta just put little things, and then as this show, I kind of put the summary and the status, and then once I get the episode, I put it under episode. And that's the edited one completely, like within, because in Kindle Vella, they have actually, when you put your episode in, they'll even have further edits that you might need to do, because they have Grammarly installed, and it'll even tell you the tone of the paragraph and everything like that. That's one of the things I really like about Kindle Vella. And then projected publication days, which reminds me, I need to make a projected day of this day. Projected date. Or waiting for betas. Which is nice for calendar things, and once I have like more things that I'm doing. And yeah, research. So that's kind of my good old, this is back when I had some of my names were incorrectly spelled in this, but yeah, that's kind of how I use Notion to kind of organize things. Well, I had to manually, figure out the word count. Notion doesn't, at least I haven't seen something that counts it. I don't like putting any of my actual words, except for my episodes, like separately in it. I have links to my Google Docs and that kind of thing, but I mainly use it for like organization. I'm having a hard time organizing my thoughts for section 3. Like, I have all these notes for it, but I know it's gonna change after I write section 2. I just know it. But I'm trying to at least have like some sort of like basis for season 3. So I have an idea where I'm going. Alright, let's see if I can drink the coffee now. Oh, nice! You found me on... Yep, I'm streaming on YouTube as well. I was having a hard time figuring out the YouTube streaming, and then I found a nice video about how to stream to multiple locations using this like widget for OBS, and so that's what I'm using. As you can see from when I open OBS, there's like this little plugin, output, multiple output plugin. Sometimes words are hard. I guess you can also stream to Twitter, but from what I saw, there wasn't like an easy way to get a stream key for Twitter, and I'd need a stream key and a couple other things for this to work. So, and then I guess you can also stream to Facebook, but I'm just starting out with Facebook author-wise, and that's too much. At least with Twitter and YouTube and Twitch, I'm more familiar with them, and I've been on them for a while, so with my other accounts and stuff. So it's a lot being an indie author, but I'm getting there. It's definitely a learning curve. I'm also on Instagram with the same username if you're on there. I'm author Celestia Sharp, and also on Instagram and on TikTok. Mostly on Instagram, it's mostly for like when I have certain things happening or on occasion, and then but TikTok I have more of like updates of my story and behind the scenes, and eventually I plan on doing like a couple cosplaying of my characters for my book, so that is in the works. And then also more author TikTok kind of things on there. So I usually suggest author my TikTok over my Instagram. Okay, come on, Caitlin. You can focus. Yeah, it is kind of going the way of the dodo. But, I mean, there's still, like, groups, like Facebook groups for Kindle Vella, and that's mainly why I joined. And I actually got into a couple. So, I mean, they kind of help each other out, you know, asking questions about Kindle Vella and that kind of thing. Which, you know, I haven't used it much, like, at all. Like, I made it, and then I joined the groups, and then I haven't really posted much on there yet. But it's my goal to do it one of these days. I have to use my spoons wisely. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna do this stream. Oh, best advice I can give you is collaboration. Your channel will begin to grow by forming relationships, not by hoping people randomly come to you. Make genuine friends and find people to grow with. Best way to get started in social media. Thank you. That's really good advice. And that's kind of like what I hope to do. I'm not sure how to get going with collaborations. How to get going. But maybe I can chat a couple of the people that follow me and I follow them on TikTok and see what we can do. And the two of us could do a collaboration if we want to. No pressure, just suggestion. Me trying to push myself out of my comfort zone and ask directly as I do. This is a weird song. I'm skipping it. Oh, I want to go back to the rustic. The rustic was nice. So yes, as I was about to say, since I am going to join a separate sprint in about an hour, I would say let's do this for another 15 minutes, and then I will stop this, end this stream today. But then I will come back for another stream Thursday and Friday, same time, 9:30 a.m. Alright, come on. Let's see if I can finish section 3. You know where certain music just starts annoying you after a certain... I think I'm gonna go back to the Fables. There we go. Yay, like-minded people! Yeah, just send me a chat on whichever social media you want, preferably Twitter, or I don't know if there's instant messaging on Twitch. Is there? I don't know. But also my email, my business email is really easy to remember. It's also authorcelestiasharp@gmail.com, so you can also send me an email if you want. No pressure. Okay, I think that's end of section 3. Section 4. Maybe his video. Sounds good. Ugh. Oh, don't know how to DM yet? Let me go ahead and go to my Twitter. Why hasn't it shown that you followed me? It used to be really easy on the app to DM someone, but I don't know. It's something where I'd have to Google it. It might be... Like, I used to DM all the time. DM on Twitter. And yes, this is relevant to writing, so I can look this up right now. I guess it depends on if you do it via the web. The left navigation bar. Okay, so then you enter my username, and then next, and then you can do it that way. And then I have Android. It looks like it also has an envelope. Where is the envelope icon? Was it hiding from me? Oh, it's on the far right. So if you have Android, it's going to be on the far right. And then, as you can see, it will just have a message, and then you can search the person that you're going to send the message to. Oh, that's probably it. I just didn't, I was worried about random people DMing me. I've had some random people DMing on Instagram, and it kind of weirded me out. Like people that were not authors, they were just like saying it was beautiful, but not in a rude way, just like in a slightly creepy way. And so I was just all like, yeah, I should probably just put, I think the Twitter was, I just made it safe, and if there's like even a wider audience, I feel like on Twitter, so I was like only followers or something. Sorry, that was, you saw a close up of my face. No one wants to see that. Okay. But at least now we have figured that out, because I feel like it was easier once upon a time. I am confused for this section because I feel like this is where my season 3 gets a little fuzzy, because I have like a whole bunch of like outline stuff on the left hand side, like loosely outlined, but then at the same time I'm like, now I know things aren't gonna go that simply. I'm just like, and this is where I end up being a plantser, because I can plan a little bit, but I do need to just like fly on the seat of my pants a little bit. Is your Twitter the same as your username here? The Amias Coast? Wow. My eyeballs did not see. There you are. I like your pinned tweet. I agree. Yes, social. There we go. Following you back now. For some reason, Twitter didn't tell me that you followed me. I just looked you up. Also, if you want to find a thing that helps with like making easy like images for once you're ready to post your Kindle Vella, what I use is BookBrush. You have like a limited amount that you can do free, but it's like a lot. Like I've done at least 10 images before. It was all like, no more. So, and I think it's per month you have a certain amount. And it's just called BookBrush. I'll put in the, which anything to make marketing easier for us indie authors, then that's good in my book. You can make covers on there. They have like different little tags for different kinds of things. So like Twitter, YouTube, so you can make a YouTube banner there. Even Kindle Vella, it has little cute little like a phone with that you can put your cover in it, or a hand holding the phone, or that kind of thing. So it's really nice. My banner that's on Twitter, I made in it. So that just shows you what you can do. Three more minutes before the sprint. Well, not sprint, ends. And something I'd like to find for NaNoWriMo, and I will be researching it, is how to get a timer on your stream. I don't know how to do that, and I think it might be a widget that I need to find. But because I would like to do some sprints during NaNoWriMo. And I know Paper Tiger has a nice little timer on hers. Of course, hers count down from like 2 hours usually, but I'd like to do like smaller sprints, you know? I think that might be fun. No pressure sprints, not like a competition, but just like us sharing each other's progress and stuff. Okay, I think I'm done with outlining season 3. Not done, but just like done to the point where I'm like, I think I need to write some of season 3 before I can finish outlining season 3. Let's see. Then we need to make this a header. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. Google changed how they did the headings. There used to be this like little thing on the left-hand side where it had like all your like in bold print chapter titles, but that went away with an update, and I've been trying to figure out how to reapply it again. And I've seen TikTok tutorials and stuff, but I thought I did it, but I guess I did not, and I don't have patience to do it right now. Alrighty, well that was a wonderful first sprint, official sprint, and I will see you on Thursday at 9:30 again. And maybe I'll see you in 45 minutes at Paper Tigers. I mean, I won't see you. You won't see me. You know what I mean. Anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and See you next time.